Hello and welcome to LearnDoBecome Radio. This is Alia, and in today's podcast, I'm going to be sharing all about how you can have hope that you can create space for your family and friends and other loved ones, in addition to getting organized for work, in your home life, and in any other area that might be important to you. And for those listening when this goes live, Step Momentum, our 4-week accountability group that takes you through our entire STEP program, begins January 8th. And if you want to build your own STEP Command Central and your own system with Team LearnDoBecome with lots of support and bite-sized assignments, you can go to LearnDoBecome.com/momentum for all the details, and I'll also share more about it at the end. And for anyone who's currently a member of our Step Mastery program, the registration is open on the main programs page when you log in to your members area. And for the full show notes that go along with this podcast, you can go to LearnDoBecome.com/episode 270, and we'll have a written version, a little write-up, as well as some helpful related links for you. Now, the reason for today's podcast being all about giving you hope and this excitement that knowing that you can create space for your family and friends in the midst of getting organized is because I'm recording this during the holiday season and our family celebrates Christmas. It's just a couple days away from when I'm recording this now. So no matter what you celebrate or no matter what might be going on in your life right now, this can typically be a pretty busy time of the year, especially getting ready for the brand new year. A lot of people are trying to set new goals or reflecting on how the year went. And it can be easy to be kind of hard on ourselves and say, well, I didn't do X, Y, and Z this year, or I could have done this better, or I'm kind of frustrated that this didn't work out. And I think that we often don't give ourselves enough credit for the things that we are doing and all the things that are going on behind the scenes. And so we want to give a little bit of encouragement and also show how having a simple but effective STEP system can really ease the stress of life and also create room for the people and projects and things in our life that matter most. So our team member Taryn shared this piece of advice to one of our fellow steppers, when steppers is just the name we give to people who have gone through our STEP program. And she gave this great piece of advice and said, "It's normal to veer off track when life gets in the way or when we get sick. The STEP program and the Command Central offer a structure that can help us get back on track. It takes time and practice, but it's well worth it." And in my own life, I love knowing that I have a simple system that's running in the background, and I check in on it once a week. I do a more thorough check-in, but every day I'm doing a smaller check-in just to make sure that I'm checking those things off the list that have to be done on certain days, but I'm not overloading myself, and I'm really trying to be mindful of all the things that I have going on right now. We have a toddler in a relatively busy season of life, but I don't feel stressed about that. I feel like I still have room to invite people into our home, to connect with family via FaceTime and be a support to them in different ways from a distance, and also to serve in our community. My husband and I are pretty involved in our church community, and we're trying to find other ways to volunteer at this time. So even with everything going on, we still feel like we're not trapped in a little box of to-dos and just running in circles, feeling busy. We feel like there's a way to do what matters most because we have our STEP system. And another piece of advice that we wanted to share that is from one of our steppers. It was so great, and Taryn shared it in response to another person who was feeling a little bit overwhelmed and discouraged. But this one stepper wrote, "Repeated failures to get organized. Many of us have started and restarted the program, but I'll bet 99% of us have made progress. We're not perfect, we're not finished, but we're further ahead than we were before STEP." And STEP is our signature program. It stands for Steps to Everyday Productivity. And this person continues, "And that's how you want to think about it. It took you years to get here. You won't change overnight, but you can change in 5 minutes at a time. Each action you take brings you one step closer to control in your life. Keep asking questions, set the timer for 5 minutes, and do something simple." And I love this piece of advice because I think no matter where we're at in our journey to get organized and to create that level of calm and mental clarity in our lives, we're all going to be at different places. But when we can step back and recognize that just taking 5 to 10 minutes to do something small, whether it's just simply clearing a space so we can have an open desk to work from, or clearing a small space at the table so our family can eat together and start creating connection, or whether it's taking 5 minutes to set a little bit clearer boundaries with someone at work so that we're not feeling burnt out and overloaded. Those might seem kind of trivial and like, well, yeah, that's just part of being an adult or just part of the things we do. But I think when we actually start taking notice of those things and actually start trying to be more intentional about putting those 5 to 10 minute actionable items into our life, we're going to start seeing these huge differences. And that's going to start giving us the space to be more present for our loved ones and to also feel like we have the room in our life to start pursuing the projects and the goals and the ideas that mean the most to us. And now I want to share a couple audio testimonials from 2 of our Momentum graduates. They were participants in our summer session of Step Momentum that we did a few months back. And we had a little graduation ceremony for all of the people that were able to go through the STEP program in 4 weeks and to do the little bite-sized assignments. And it was so fun to see the people on the Zoom call live. And of course, we had several hundred that were catching the recording due to other commitments. But we were able to hear live from a couple of our STEP Momentum graduates. And they were able to talk about their experience going through the STEP program with this extra support and this extra accountability and this extra cheerleading from not only our team here at LearnDoBecome, but also from hundreds of their peers and those who are in the same situations. And I think it's going to be so cool for you to hear in their own words the transformation that they saw in their own homes and families and their own lives, just by going through a program that helps them create a simple system so they can do what matters most. So you're first going to hear from Diana, and Diana shares a little bit about how she was able to go through her childhood home after her mother passed away, and how she was able to navigate that really difficult time of loss while also needing to move through the clutter and move through all the things that were left behind. And her story, her experience is really beautiful. And then you'll hear from Barbara, who had some health issues at the same time. She was helping to host an exchange student, but how she felt like she was able to really be present for that exchange student and her family while taking care of her health and not overloading her plate. So these are 2 awesome examples of things that these people were going through in their busy lives, and things didn't slow down, but they were able to recognize, wait a second, I have some great tools in my toolbox to set up a system and make things happen in a way that's sustainable for me and my loved ones. So here are the 2 experiences from Diana and Barbara.
Well, I don't even know where to begin because this is fantastic being within a community of people that have the same challenges that you do on a daily basis. Really helps you move forward to know that you're not in it alone. And someone else said something to the effect just a couple of people ago about having a purpose, living your purpose. And, if you just clean your house, then what? Well, 20 years ago is when my mom passed. And I took care of her for 3 years at home. When she passed, it was very difficult for me to get rid of everything. So I went ahead and I renovated the house, kept the clutter. There's 13 rooms in this place.
Oh, wow.
And I made several attempts to move this out, move that out, but I didn't have a system. Now, I purchased this program, I don't know, it's probably been a couple of years now, but I found myself so intrigued. For some reason, we wake up, whenever it is, this particular Zoom, and this whole month, I've made little strides. I've got half of my command central. I took control of my dining room table, and then I found myself cleaning corners that have taken me a long time to get to, that it was just the mental struggle. I cannot thank you enough for putting this together and wanting to really help others. The price of this is worth its weight in gold. And I'm also going to listen to the podcast and be more active in the community. And I'm not done, but I'm also one of those that never wanted to let anyone in the house, etc. So again, thank you, April and Eric, for being diligent in helping us.
Thank you, Diana.
Yeah, I think it's a thank you to the whole community, right? And to the team. Like, I mean, April and I speak a lot, we share a lot, but it's really all of you. And I mean, I think you can feel it in this call, like all of you talking about how the things you felt, the things you've experienced. I hope one of the biggest things you take away from the mastery group, from this momentum process here, it's a community, right? You're not the only one going through or feeling, experiencing things. So, I mean, just even the theme of like, losing a parent or a mother, like, we help each other. We support each other through the hard and the wonderful things in life. So thank you so much for sharing that, Diana. You're amazing.
I didn't bring tissues. I'm like, thank you.
We'll have them here from now on.
Okay, Barbara, you want to finish us off?
Okay, as we've been talking about our why, I really wanted to share, I had already finished the program prior to this, and I was using momentum as a chance to really tweak and tighten up my systems, because this summer, my oldest had just graduated from high school. We had an exchange student come from Germany for 6 weeks, and we had a lot of things going on. And just after the exchange student got here, we had left town to go visit some sites, and a deer jumped in front of our car at like 55 miles an hour is what we were going. And I ended up spending the next 6 weeks at the chiropractor multiple times a week, getting my health back in order. And any ability I had to do anything, I wanted to be able to be spending time with my family and this exchange student. And because of this program, any thoughts that came to me, I knew where to put them until I was feeling better. I knew how to just defer things. I knew what would not fall apart, and I could leave it until later. And so then around the time that I am feeling better, momentum came up, and I thought, great, this is an opportunity to make sure I'm getting everything put back together as I come. And that exchange student, I felt like I was failing him because I spent so much time laying on ice packs and reading books, read some great novels, but I thought I was failing him. And just before he left, he said, I have done more than I had hoped for coming to America. And we did some amazing things and made some great memories. And it's all because I could put so much aside, and I knew that it wouldn't be lost and that the important things were being taken care of. So thank you.
Weren't those experiences amazing? I think too often we hear people being celebrated for pushing through their illnesses or working so hard that they're pulling all-nighters, or we see a lot of people celebrated for doing these really big things and for obviously accomplishing a lot, but usually it's at some kind of cost to their health, their sleep, maybe relationships with their family and friends. So there's so much to be celebrated for people doing great things, whether it's in their work or other passions or hobbies they might have. But I think we also need to recognize that it's okay to take things off our plates, and it's okay to put things on our next in line or someday list. These lists have been game changers for me. The past couple months, I was having just some sickness and I wasn't feeling 100%. And as much as I wanted to do a lot of projects and I wanted to take on a lot of things, I wasn't able to physically. And I was able to really reflect on that and take some time to say, why do I feel like I need to take on so much? And there really wasn't a great reason. I just kind of felt like, well, everybody does that, so I should probably do that as well. But when I was able to really take an inventory of all the things going on in my life, plus the energy that I had and the physical health that I had at the moment and the recovery and rest that I needed, I was able to say, well, a lot of these things aren't even time sensitive, so I can just move them safely to my next in line or someday lists. They're not going to be lost. They're right there when I'm ready for them. And it felt so freeing to take things off my plate when typically I don't hear a lot about that. And so I think at LearnDoBecome, we want to be voices for saying, take care of yourself. We totally give you the permission to put things on a later list, a future list. We're not saying just neglect all your responsibilities and don't do things. Obviously, that's not what we're saying. We think that setting up simple systems and routines so that the most important things are handled, and that if there is an urgent project that comes up, that you're able to take that on. But when it comes to all the extra stuff or things that are not time sensitive, there's totally a way to figure out how to either delegate that to someone else or maybe split up responsibilities so that you do some but not all of the work. But I think that just really taking a good inventory on your health, the amount of projects you're giving yourself and things like that, that's going to make such a big difference in the quality of your life and the amount of time and energy that you're able to give to your loved ones in creating space for them in your life. And I also wanted to share 2 great testimonials that we received in our Facebook groups recently. I'll post pictures of them on the show notes page so you can see the visuals if you'd like. Again, you can find the show notes at LearnDoBecome.com/episode 270. And the first one comes from Kathy, and it says, "This was my chaos on a regular basis." And below is a picture of a dining room table that has a lot of papers on it. There's a paper towel roll, a couple boxes, some envelopes. So a pretty good sized stack of papers just all over the table. And Kathy continues, "But since I set up my command central in the corner of this room, the table has actually been clear. Step win. My son could actually have a Friendsgiving in this dining room with his high school friends without having to spend my morning clearing the mess on the table. I'm thankful for Step. It's a process, but I'm getting there step by step." And then the picture after that is this beautiful clear table with a simple command central in the background. You can see there's a little place for files. There's a place for project support materials, different papers that are in the cubbies. And the table is totally clear. And it provided this beautiful space to have friends of her son over to celebrate Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving together. And we love this so much. It was such a beautiful example of how just having a simple place for the papers and the incoming items in our life, it creates this open physical space. Obviously, it creates mental space as well. But it can be so impactful to just have a little bit more open physical space where we can invite loved ones to come in. And as you remember, Diana shared in her audio testimonial that she was afraid to have people come into her home. She wasn't wanting people to see all that was happening inside the home. But as she was able to start going through the different piles, either of paper or items or just any kind of clutter that was there, she was able to give it a home and figure out where to put it, and then create this open space to welcome loved ones into the home. So we love this example from Kathy, and you're welcome to check out the pictures. They're so beautiful. And I love this so much because now that we have a 1-year-old son, it's a little bit different. He's not inviting friends over right now, but I love knowing that we have systems in place that keep our home clutter-free or relatively clutter-free. We do a little reset at the end of every evening, and that helps us to make sure the dishes are getting washed regularly, the laundry is getting put away regularly, and that we're not leaving a lot of things out that will just eventually grow into bigger piles. And I grew up like this, where we have little systems that we would use to reset the house every evening. And I'm sure I complained a little bit as a kid and saying, really, do we have to do our chores? I don't want to do the dishes. Obviously, I wasn't a perfect angel child, but just the things that I was able to learn and all those routines I was able to establish as a child with my parents, they have been so transformative in the way that I'm running my own household now with my husband and son. And I'm confident that as he gets older and as he wants to start inviting friends over and as we want to start having more things in our home, we're going to have the space and we're not going to feel embarrassed by our space. And obviously, if that's not the place that you're at yet, there is no judgment here. We're not saying that, you're only a good person if you only, have a clear table or a clear space to invite people over. That's not the case at all. But we want you to know that if you are feeling stuck, or if you are feeling like, I would like more open space, or I would like to have a more calm mind so I can invite more people over, or I can spend more time with my loved ones, then we want you to know that there's resources here for you. And that's why we're here. We want to help and encourage you. And this second testimonial that we'll also put a picture on the show notes page of is from Christine. And Christine says, "Okay, steppers, Who else enjoyed the holiday week because you felt organized and in control? I was able to clean the house in record time, make food ahead, and actually relax to enjoy the day. I'm taking this as a win. And Christine continues, plus I was able to use the 2-bucket system and have a clean area. I'm using the STEP physical system in movable buckets. They are able to be put away and brought back in record time. This is my command central, pictured below, and Christine mentions there's an egg crate that has all of the STEP system files and materials in it, and there's a plastic bucket below that has support materials for future projects. I was able to clean up my fall decorations in record time too, making room for the Christmas decorations. This has become my safe place and my house is clean. And I love this image that was shared because a lot of people think that they need to have a command central that looks just like April's, my mom's. And the command central that April has is probably her 3rd or 4th command central that she's developed and built over time. And we've really been encouraging people to just start with the materials that you have. Like Christine mentioned, using an egg crate and a plastic bucket, just items that you might have around your house or office supplies that you might already have, to keep it really simple. And we say focus on function over fancy. You can always make a system fancier and more quote unquote perfect in the future. But what really matters most is that you just set something up, have a simple place for those incoming papers and items in your life. And I love how Christine mentioned that there's a plastic bucket full of support materials for future projects. So that instead of having papers and items around the house or getting lost somewhere, they have a home. And when Christine's ready to work on a future project, everything is right there. So if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the holidays or the end of the year or anything else that might be going on, we hope that you know that it is possible to create a system that can help you to feel more relaxed and more in control while a lot of things might feel a little bit out of control and very busy. And I just love what Christine shared here, and we're going to put the image up on our show notes page. So I just want to close this podcast and say that there are so many different ways that our steppers and our amazing community members have shown that they are able to use their STEP systems to either create physical space by clearing off papers and items in different piles, or people who are able to create mental space by putting things in their someday lists or their next in line projects lists and not worrying about taking on too much right now. There's also people who are able to create more space to have their loved ones come visit, or to be able to create better routines and systems during the holidays when things sometimes feel like they might be falling apart or too busy or out of routine. And I've definitely seen this in my own life growing up with parents who use these same principles. And I'm seeing how this translates over into my own adult life, where sure, things aren't perfect in our life, but I feel really confident knowing that I am getting to all my appointments, I'm completing all my necessary routines, I'm taking on just a couple projects every month, maybe 1 or 2 work projects and a personal project, but I'm not overloading myself, and I feel really confident that I'm going to get those things done. I'm going to link 2 helpful resources on our show notes page. The first is a podcast episode from my mom called What I Do Productivity-Wise When I'm Sick. And I love these reminders because I've definitely been using them as I hadn't been feeling great over the past couple months, but I'm doing better now. And then there's also a video called When Life Gets in the Way of Getting Organized. And I think that's such a great resource for anyone who might be feeling in that same place and might be feeling a little bit stuck or like life is just too much right now. So I hope these resources are helpful for you. And just as a reminder, our Step Momentum Accountability Group is going to be starting on January 8th, 2025, and we are so excited for this. We're really looking forward to it. Registration is now open for all current Step Mastery members, so if you are not yet a Step Mastery member, we invite you to check out our page, LearnDoBecome.com/momentum, and we have all the details there. But essentially, you'll be receiving 3 simple assignments from us each week. We'll send them out Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 4 weeks. And we just give you simple assignments to go through the whole STEP program in the month time frame. So we're going to show you exactly how to set up the pieces of the Command Central that you heard Christine and our other friends here on the podcast mention. And then we're also going to show you how to process all the items that come into your life. And then we're going to show you how to do a weekly review so that everything can be maintained long term, and it's not a quick Band-Aid fix. It's actually something that will last an entire lifetime and will sustain you and support you through anything that you might be going through. So we also have some really fun guarantees for those who are joining the program for the first time. For example, we have not only a 60-day money-back guarantee, but if you go through all of the assignments and it does not work for you and you are not able to create this system and see all of the results that we mentioned, we'll not only give you a full refund, but we're also going to give you an Amazon gift card to purchase different supplies of your choice. So really, there is no risk for signing up for Step Momentum. And we've had so many happy, encouraged community members and graduates who've gone through this program. So lots of success stories, lots of awesome things ahead. And we'd love to see you there with us to start out the new year getting organized and creating this space for not only yourself, but your loved ones and the things that matter most to you. So again, you can find all the details on that at LearnDoBecome.com/momentum. And then the show notes for this episode are found at LearnDoBecome.com/episode 270. So thank you so much for joining me on this podcast, and we'll see you soon here at Learn, Do, Become.